Okay, in the meantime of waiting for the plumbing to settle out and get an inspection on that, we're starting in on the siding. We have to have the siding up before we can put our meter base in. We're searching down all the parts we need for that right now. So let's just take a look at this corner here. So Charles has the first corner pieces put on. We ripped this one down 3/4 so that it's a nice 3.5 inches on both sides. We've got that fit up underneath those gabled ends. And he's working on this one over here. He's putting a nice bead of caulking right down the edge there. Where we're seaming that together. So tomorrow we're gonna wrap this thing with house wrap and get ready to do some siding. We have the siding all ordered and it's on its way here. Should be here Thursday. Okay, Charles got the trim boards on. We are rolling out our Tyvek now on the back of this thing, and it's going on very smoothly. So we're gonna finish this upper piece now and then start in on some siding. We don't have our windows yet, but we can come up a little ways with the siding, get started on this. Okay, there's one side of it. Charles is going to finish stapling it off. We're going to get a board here. We're going to mark our 16-inch centers and get a piece of siding up. Okay, so I found my first stud. I just went on the inside and marked my first one. So this is the edge of it. I'm 3/4 of an inch over. I'm going to mark out my 16-inch centers all the way down. We're going to mark those off so we know where to nail off our siding. Okay, we are nailing on a little cedar strip on the very bottom edge, which is about an inch or so up from where the siding will be. And that is just to kick it out so it has the same angle as the siding does. So our siding will rest on that little kick out, which gives it the air gap you want behind it for any moisture to disperse out. So we're ready for our first piece of siding as soon as we get establish our first line. All right, it's gonna be our first line. All right, I'm gonna pull it really tight now. You got it? Almost to the point of breaking it. All right, you snap your end. There's our first line. Okay, so we have our first line established. We just measured up the 6 1/4 from the very bottom. We made sure that all of our trim boards are level down. So we're ready to put up our first piece of siding. Okay, our first piece is going up. The nail gun is working perfectly. We're using 2 3/8 ring shank hot dip galvanized siding nails for this to put this siding on. So that Hardy wants a little gap in between here, so we're leaving a little gap, you know, a little more than a 1/16. It's like a little more than a 1/16, a little less than an 1/8. That's going to be our caulking line. So we're going to actually drill and hand nail on the seams because it wants to break this Hardy plank and we don't want to do that. So there we go. We're going to put another long one on here. All right, Charles is going to check our first board here with a level, just to see where we ended up. How's it looking, Charles?
Level.
Stay there a second. Let me just take a look at that bubble. Whoa, look at that. That's perfect. Okay, good morning. We are back on the little house project here. You just saw Charles working with these little blocks we made. I know they make these little spacers for putting up this Hardie or different kinds of siding, but I just made these. Let's just take a look at them. So I just used a piece of banding material, bent it so it has a nice 5/16 lip on it and has a little burr that holds it in place, and this gives us our 1¼ inch spacing. So we put those on to get it started. So our nailer is not a very new nailer. It's an old Hitachi, and we find that when we do our corners, we're busting out the siding. So we are actually drilling and hand nailing just our ends so we don't have that problem. And we get a really nice joint. We can angle it in really good right into the stud. And you can see we have our flashing behind everything. That's a nice secure joint. So Charles here is putting in the piece of flashing, which I pre-cut out of just some 30-pound felt. They make metal flashings for this, but this 30-pound felt is more than enough. That's a nice secure seam. Now we're using the Quad Max, and he's going to caulk that seam right there. So we're just doing this as we go along so we get a nice caulked seam. I have a nice small hole cut so we can pump it really deep into that seam. Do a little finger schmucker. When we paint that, it's going to disappear. All right, looks like our siding is here. There goes Charles. We got our shipment of siding here today, so there's our shakes. Look at all those nice, beautiful cedar shakes. Oh, it's gonna look so good. So the James Hardie on the side, then a nice belly band and a skirt of shakes. So yeah, we're gonna move these in, and then we're gonna move on to, we're gonna move those into the shop, and then we're gonna get back on that damn water line ditch. We had our inspection yesterday. They said close up the hole. We can close up some of it, and then we gotta put our electric service going back out there.
What is good? How are you? How have you been? Answer my foolish, how the work for conversation. One more day.
Well, we stuck a couple of windows in. Just, we had these little ones. We're still waiting on the main windows, but they're in and flashed. The 2 bathroom windows. Charles got this siding on. We're about done for the day. We're gonna go finish out our day digging a little and call it a day.